Hello, welcome back to my channel. So, this is a different video, basically. A different video from what I usually do in this channel, because basically this video is made in conjunction with Bookemon 2025, which is a year-long reading challenge organized by my friend Meredith from Bin Chicken Books. So, basically the gist of this event is that you read something based on the prompts given every month, and then with this you can lure out particular cute creatures inspired by Pokemon. And how to join, how to participate in this reading challenge, you're gonna have to check out the video by Meredith below in the description box below if you have not done so, if you are not familiar with Pokemon, in order to get yourself acquainted with this reading challenge. So basically there are things that you would need to do, but the bulk of it would involve reading books based on the prompts that are going to be announced every month. Now, and I think there are prompts for every quarter as well. Now, for this video, I'll be sharing with you guys the prompt for January 2025. And the prompt will be, read a book you think you'll fly through, or something that you would consider a quick read. And basically, you can pretty much read anything as long as you consider it as a quick read. Now, if you consider War and Peace a quick read, by all means do that. It will satisfy this prompt. So basically, in January, the monthly Pokemon can be lured by this thing called a flypie. And I have the picture right here because Meredith shared it with me, and I think it's kind of cute. I don't know why I think a pie with flies on it kind of cute. I think it kind of fits my aesthetics, perhaps. But yeah, basically, in order to lure out the monthly January Pokemon, or Bookemon, you'll have to get this flypie. In order for you to get this flypie, you need to read a book that you think you'll fly through. Okay, so yeah, like I said, this book can be anything, any format, doesn't really matter, as long as you have fun. And another thing is that if you read the book and it turns out to not be a quick read, right, you can still count it, because you originally considered it or thought that it might be a quick read for you. You can count it, it's fine. And again, the criteria, it doesn't really matter. You yourself define what you consider a quick read, and for this prompt, you just need to satisfy it before the end of January. Anyway, that's pretty much the prompt for January's reading challenge for Pokemon. Now, to add on something to this video, I have some personal recommendations. Just in case you don't have any ideas on what you want to read, which is something that I find really difficult to believe, because if you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure you guys are like bookish people. You know what you want to read. So yeah, let's just say I just want to use this as an excuse to share my personal favorite quick reads. And also, before I start sharing, I find it kind of ironic that Meredith asked me to share this prompt, a book that you can read quickly, because I'm a sluggish reader, okay? And yeah, I don't read books very quickly, but there have been times in which I read books quickly, and there are reasons for that. Anyway, the first book that I want to share is called The Woman in the Purple Skirt by Natsuko Imamura, translated from Japanese to English by Lucy North. And this is probably the most recent book that I finished. In fact, I have not even talked about this book in my by the time I upload this video, I don't have the recent reads for this book yet. So seeing the first, kind of like the preview of what I think about this book. Anyway, I love this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It is a very riveting book, but it's also riveting in this kind of strange way. This book is about this woman. Her name is The Woman in the Yellow Cardigan. And she lives in Japan. And every so often she would observe that there is another woman living in around the same area called the woman in the purple skirt. So basically she would observe that this woman would come to a particular bench at the park, and then this woman would routinely sit there and then eat her cream bun. And the woman in the yellow cardigan finds the woman in the purple skirt to be a fascinating figure because of what she does routinely. And she would eventually details the life of, sort of like the routine and the life of the woman in the purple skirt to the readers in a way that sounds kind of stalkery. But anyway, the woman in the yellow cardigan is so fascinated by this other woman in the purple skirt that she really wants to kind of get closer to her, and so she sort of lures her to work at the same hotel as a housekeeper, where the woman in the yellow cardigan also works as a housekeeper, and the story sort of takes off from there. Now, this book is very interesting because even up until the end, I still don't really know very clearly exactly what the point of this book is, and I find that to be really really tantalizing. So if you guys are interested in this kind of storyline, then I would definitely recommend this as a quick read for this prompt, definitely. Now, the next book I want to recommend is called The Death of Mourat Idrissi. This is by Dutch writer Wieringa, and this book was translated from Dutch to English by by Sam Garrett. And in this book, we follow two women who are Dutch by nationalities, and they visit Morocco. And it is in Morocco that they ended up being lured by another person to sort of traffic a living human across the border. However, something bad happens, and the story takes off from there. And this is an interesting book because despite its very short length, I think it's less than 100 pages long, it also explores a lot of issues surrounding identity, sense of belonging, the issues surrounding race, ethnicity, religion, nationality, all of these things that would eventually intersect with one another, and how these things affect people in very individual ways. There's a bit of dark humor in this book that I also enjoy. So if this is the kind of stuff that you are interested in, try this one. Now, the next one that I want to suggest would be Strike Your Heart by my personal favorite author, Amélie Nothomb, a Belgian author. This book was originally written in French, translated to English by Alison Anderson. And this book is about a strained relationship between a mother and a daughter, and how this daughter, her name is Diane, ends up growing into an adult that has a particularly, let's just say, interesting outlook and relationships with women, particularly older women. And this is quite fascinating to me because out of all the Nothomb books that I've read, I feel like this is probably her most tender book. And there is something very interesting about how this book describes female relationships, female friendship, familial relationships as well, and the dynamics that happen when toxicity is thrown in there, and the origin of the toxicity, the origin of anything that is negative in a particular relationship. It is described quite nicely in here, and I really enjoy that one. So if you're interested in relationship based stories that are also a quick read, this is something I would definitely recommend. But if you want something that is very passionate, very romantic, I read something this year which definitely fits that, and it's called By Grand Central Station I Sat Down and Wept by Elizabeth Smart. This book was published in the 40s, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it was published in the 40s. And this book is pretty much it's about the emotional outburst of a woman who is involved in a relationship with a married man, and the kinds of emotional trials and tribulations that she's facing internally because of her immense and overwhelming love for this married man. And it's written in a way that is really poetic. I mean, this book is, after all, something is considered as a prose poem. But it is also very passionate, and we get an almost voyeuristic view of how this narrator feels about her lover and how it is affecting her. And so if you want something that is at least 95% emotions, this is it. So my last personal recommendation would be a Japanese classic called The Waiting Years by Fumiko Enchi, translated by John Bester from Japanese to English. And this book was published sometime in 1950s, the original version, that is. And this book is about a woman named Tomo who lives sometime at the turn of 20th century in Japan, and she's married to this this man, a rising government official, and one day this government official, her husband, requests that she looks for him a mistress, which probably sounds absurd to some of us, but yeah, basically this is where the novel starts. And because Tomo is a wife who respects what society expects from her as a woman, as a wife, basically as a wife she has this duty to sort of honor her husband's wishes and do as he says. Basically, Tomo finds him a mistress who will eventually live together in Tomo's household. And the story would eventually kicks off from that point. And eventually, the story would explore how this household eventually evolved, but still with Tomo, this wife, as a central figure, and how she is interacting with the people who come and go in this household of hers. And there is this book has so much to say about relationships between women, and also women's agencies of their own life and their own bodies, and how it again relates to their own individual needs and wants, and also relate that with the socio-political or socio-economical positions of these women at that era in Japan, which I find really interesting, really fascinating, and very fun to read. It's a slim book, and because it was so fun to read, I just flew through this book. So if you're interested in a classic, a Japanese classic that is, definitely try this one, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Anyway, I think the recommendation part of this video is taking like 11 minutes. So yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you'll enjoy Bookemon, and yeah, I'll see you again in a different video. So until then, take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.